Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap, 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think, 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind.
Well, this week we've got some big news to announce. We've just announced a new partnership with Cherry and White Pins, hopefully for the rest of the season and beyond. Go and check them out, have a look at everything that they sell, some really good options on there. And if you use the code The Wigan Way, you'll be able to get free delivery.
All capitals.
All capitals. Check out on the Twitter and the Instagram, give them a follow, and you'll be able to have a look at a wide variety of stuff, some really good stuff coming out there. Anyway, on to this week's game. We went over to Castleford. It was the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. But before we get into it, Matty, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Had a nice weekend away that culminated in this trip to Castleford. Not really where you go on a destination for your holiday, but that was the end destination for us.
West Yorkshire.
West Yorkshire was where we ended up.
Escape's alright.
Yeah, Escape's decent, isn't it?
As you can tell, we've Lewis isn't here this week. We're joined by Cam. How you doing, mate?
Alright, mate, you?
Yeah, not too bad. I want to ask you, Cam. Obviously, you've not been on this podcast this year. What are your thoughts on this season? Obviously, it's been quite a good start. Maybe not at our free flowing best, but have you got any?
I mean, you can't really complain, can you? I mean, lost one game, Good Friday. Tight games, it happens, and it's similar to last year in a way. You had a bit of a shaky start last year, but you couldn't tell the combinations were getting there and working. And
Yeah.
But it kind of seems like we are getting onto that bit now. We're going to start kicking on.
So, yeah,
And hopefully get a few.
that's one of the things for me that I strongly agree with. It's looked like our left side has been a little bit more settled, and that's the side that's continued from last year with Smith, Faz, Wardle, Marshall.
Which is understandable with new right centre with Kieran
And you've got to remember Bevan French obviously only went to 6 last year. Now they've started introducing Junior in December in there, the bringing of Adam Kieran. Miski didn't really have much of a pre-season with his injury. It's just a little bit off in the timing, but you can see that getting better and better every time. And there's a couple of things we're going to talk about in this game, which just shows a little bit more understanding of Kieran, Miski, French all starting to work together. I don't think it's the end product. My personal opinion on Kieran is I don't think he's a Toby King style centre that's going to get Miski 27 tries, but I think it's a combination that right side will be just as effective. Yeah. And I think you might actually see December get a few more tries, Kieran get a few more than what maybe King did. So I think as a whole there's not going to be much change there. I just think maybe we won't see Miski hit the extreme, because 27 is a really high number, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. He'll try again, really, if you think about it, just in Super League.
Yeah, I don't think he'll hit them ridiculously high numbers, but I think he'll be up there. So let's start this game off. A strong team we put out, Challenge Cup quarter final. Really important to get the job done. It was a game that we went into heavy favourites. I think it's fair to say. Yeah. On the handicap, I think it was over 30 points. Depending on what you were looking at.
It was 30 points, and then they heard the saxophone player play, and they just upped it to 34, just in case, because that was really an interesting way to start a game. You missed that.
I know.
You were late to the game. You missed the guy. He said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," and then he said something about if you identify as a cucumber, hello to all cucumbers. I thought that was problematic. You probably lose an IMG point for that. And then.
No, it's only half a point, that.
And then they brought out this world-famous so-called saxophone player who just played along to the music, but half a second behind. And that was
like to sync with microphone.
And then they said at the end, well, we're hoping to see him again at some point later on in the season. Might as well not bother. He was very good. But you're going to have a saxophone player just playing along with the music. That's your pre-match entertainment at Cass.
Yeah. Right, let's go through it. Obviously, this game was won 60 points to 6. It was 28-6 at half time, and barring a 10-minute section just before half time and after the Isa injury that we'll talk about, which sort of slowed us down, this was probably as dominant performance you'll see between two Super League teams.
Absolutely.
I really do feel like this was as convincing.
When we wanted to score, we scored.
Yeah.
When we wanted to make meters, we made meters. It was really zero resistance to whatever we wanted to do. We just did.
It really felt like we could just roll them at ease. Yeah. And we've always talked about how Cass is that shorter ground, and you can just get on a roll, and you can do whatever you want if you're the dominant side. We really took advantage of this. We didn't do it in the league game at the start of the year. We didn't make as much advantage of that dominance. I feel like this game we were almost perfect.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the first Liam Marshall try. In fact, you know what? I'll run through them. Abbas Miski got 2 tries, Adam Kieran 1, Jake Wardle 1, along with 2 try assists. Field got 3 try assists, brilliant work. Bevan French, just the solo try for him, and 2 assists. O'Neill, a try and an assist. Dupree, a try. Lehman, a try. And December and Harry Smith both picked up a try assist. If you want to jump over to the social medias, you can have a look at the stats and the running stats, and we'll talk about that later on.
The big point about that would be Marshall, 8 games, 13 tries. Remarkable start for him. And then French is not even near the top try scorer, even though he's got 9 tries in 8. And he's tacked on 5 try assists to that as well. So French is doing what he does. Liam Marshall and Wardle have got a great combination, but one of the best combinations I've seen. Think about Wardle always putting Marshall over, and then Marshy's getting a few tries chipped in where the face ball's coming, like one from French, one from Field in this game, where the winger attacks Wardle and Marshall just strolls in.
It is a partnership that's it's dominating. It's as strong as they come in Super League. I'm not putting it up there with the great partnerships yet, but it does have the potential to. We talk about Marshall's first try. I think it was after 8 to 10 minutes. It was very early on in the game. Wardle, great hands, and we mentioned it last week. The classy centre that he is, just enough. Draw the man, tap it on, and
he's old school, isn't he, Wardle?
Yeah,
he's not going to
classic.
Yeah, he's not going to charge over and push through 3 people. But he's quick and he's got great hands, and he just knows when to pass.
His speed in his foot was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He looks to be like he's got a brilliant rugby brain. He always makes that right decision. Very rarely you think, oh, he could have given it there and he doesn't. Very rarely throws a ball in touch. Very whatever, and I probably jinxed him.
He's not flying out for interceptions in defence either.
No.
So, he's
but even if he does, it does normally make the tackle.
Yeah. He reads the game well, but he's not one who's trying to cheat it and fly out and pick passes off and leave his wingman open. He's a great centre.
Now, the next try that Wigan scored was probably an unsung hero of Wigan in the last 18 months, I would say, Brad O'Neill.
No, not by us.
Definitely.
Not by us, not by fans, but he's one that just sort of misses the radar, and fans of other clubs really do not see what he does. He gets from a Dupree offload, and
a Jacob Miller
poor tackle attempt.
Tried to take off his shirt instead of tackling.
Yeah, but he does that. As we said last week about playing with eyes up footy, he runs at space, and the space keeps going, so he just keeps running and just takes advantage of that. Sees Miller, who it's fair enough to say is probably not the strongest defender.
No.
Makes a very weak tackle, and he can make a break through the line. What really impressed me with this again is them players getting the picture. If you watch the try, Field is flying on the inside to get there. Kieran's flying on the outside. Miski on the outside of that, a little bit deeper, but he's in the picture. Yeah. And even when O'Neill gives it to Adam Kieran, he doesn't just stop. He keeps on running with him, keeps himself in the picture to, if Kieran gets tackled, he's already at 9 to distribute. He can get the ball back, which he does, and gets the try.
It was a 1-2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You never see 1-2s really in rugby, but
No,
you know,
no.
it was a 1-2.
Something that really made me giggle when I watched it back was Field. Really interesting to see that he was about 25 yards behind the play.
He was desperate to score, though.
And then was in front of Brad O'Neill as he scored.
Yeah.
He was already
He ran past him.
shaking the hands of the Castleford fan at the front. He was appreciating it. Really. Now, the man of steel gets himself onto the board, and it wouldn't be a Wigan game without Bevan doing something special or memorable.
He tried a little chip in.
Outside the box.
Inside for Field, didn't he? He tried... They'd set something up when he tried to kick inside for Field, and Liam Horn read it. And then, next thing you know, Frenchie's scoring.
And you know what? At the game, I thought Liam Horn did really well because he looked up and Broadbent was motoring onto it. Finds him, lets him run into open space. He bounces off a couple of tackles in Kieran and Miski. He almost slips out the Bevan French tackle and then gets the ball stolen one-on-one. And anyone care to guess what French was trying to do? Was he trying to be a little bit cheeky when he got to the line and go around him?
He was trying to make it an easier kick, I think.
Yeah. He's a phenomenal player, isn't he? I find myself thinking...
Even when he has a bad game, he does something
Yeah.
out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when your team's being dominated, you can come up with something.
Yeah.
Even in this game, when we throw an intercept or we threw it behind Miski and one of their players was looking like he was going to score,
Yeah.
French was the one who chased him down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we haven't
so-
really seen that so much from French. It was senior, wasn't it?
Yes.
We haven't seen that much from French this year of him just using his flat-out speed. He's been more clever.
He's
and-
not
It was a
really
great
need
tackle,
to.
really.
It was a brilliant tackle. And then
But then even, like I said, the 1% is all, every single player getting back and stopping the...
stopping the... Because
Even-
they should have scored, really, two the play after that and the play after that. They should have scored twice.
Even players like Mago, you're a big prop forward and your job's to get going forward. Your job isn't to sprint 80 metres, but they're putting every last piece
They're
of
putting
effort
it in,
in to
yeah.
get back.
And you can see, if it's quite clear on the replays of Ice's injury, which would have been around about now, I guess, or maybe a bit later. French has got his hands on his knees because he just chased down Senior.
I think it was actually after that bit.
No.
Because they throw the ball out on the end, it ends up being a forward pass and they have the scrum. I texted him and that's when he does his ankle.
I can't remember.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was after that chase down. But we'd scored a couple of tries before that.
Yeah, we'd scored a couple of tries.
Well, I think if French just lets him score, Ice stays fit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ice can blame Bevan for that.
You can blame me for that, you can blame me for being offside at the kick
It's all
against Penrith.
it's all Liam Moore's fault for giving a forward pass
Yeah.
on the right wing.
Yeah.
We don't want to blame our own players.
But probably my favourite try of this game, Liam Marshall's second. Miski, from within our own 20, takes a pass from the play of the ball, skips across a couple of defenders, doesn't really get initiated into a contact, and finds Jake Wardle. How easy does he skip past Tazipal?
He just stands still in front of him, and I just went, "Look, take him on. Look how much space you've got. Just take him on." And then he just put the hammer down. And there was no chance Tazipal, was there? There was no chance of stopping him.
You can tell that's why he's not a natural centre, and he hasn't played that position.
Well, I don't think there's many natural centres would have.
No, I don't.
Would have had that move because there was so much space out wide.
But
There's probably not many wingers that would have caught him.
No, it was really
But what really got me with it
a
was
horrible position to have to defend.
Was at the game. You can see Danny. It was right in front of us. You can see Danny Richardson coming across behind Tazipal to try and help him. And looking back at it now, I think, well, he stayed a little bit narrow, and Wardle goes round him with ease, and Richardson can't get there. And I went, but he's got the best left foot step in the league. If you try
that for the last 12 months.
If you try and cut him off more, he just steps Richardson and goes inside.
And you don't hear many people say it, but it's it's coming, but
You don't know when because he doesn't wind it up. You know, some players do that big hop in the air and then step off.
Yeah.
He just plants off that left foot and he's gone.
And I think that's probably what Richardson was waiting for. If I stay inside, I can push him towards the wing. But then he really put the afterburners down, and I don't think we've seen that from Jake really in his Wigan career.
Not much.
him absolutely put the hammer down and go fully for it. He really put the afterburners on to get around him.
And he feeds Liam Marshall.
Whether
he's on his inside or his outside.
As soon as he gets into that space...
He's looking for Liam Marshall.
He's looking for Liam Marshall. He knows he's going to be somewhere.
He could be on a different wing and he would have put a crossfield kick in. He just loves assisting Liam Marshall.
I think Warner could have took him on himself.
I think he would have.
He could have took him on himself. He does the really clever thing. He just slows down enough so he can have a look round. Takes off the afterburners, draws Broadbent at full back, and then just feeds him. It's perfect. And Wigan weren't done there in the first half. I play the ball on the halfway line, out to field at first receiver. Now it's 3v3. There are not many people that you're going to want less running at you than Jarfield on a 3v3 short side. No. If you're Miller and Innes Senior. But what I really liked about this was the switch from Kieran and Miski. Miski was in his natural-ish position.
It was a weird try. It almost seemed too easy.
Yeah,
I think it's because it was too easy. But I think it's because the play before we'd broken them open and we'd nearly scored. Mm-hmm. So they were scrambling anyway, and then I think the fullback moves out of position from that, and so there was just nobody over there. There was no communication. There was no organisation really in the defensive line.
But like I said, if you actually watch, Kieran really drifts wide. Miski almost keeps his position where you would expect the winger to be 5 or 10 yards in, supporting on the inside, and Kieran's just drifted onto the outside. Innes Senior lines him up as his winger on winger, and it reminded me a little bit of a try we scored last year, where
we did a few times
where King drifted out wide and Miski came on a bit of a short ball. It wasn't same thing, but he set up differently.
Yeah.
And if you're the winger and you're going, I'm up against Miski here, this is where my man is.
You're not going to think about the man inside, are you?
No.
Especially when you're scrambling.
If you're a left winger, you don't think about... If you got Miski in front of you, you're not thinking about the man outside him, are you? That's the point.
And it's just really clever from all the team there to just play what they see in front of them, and again put themselves in space. 28-0. Then probably what was most gutting for me about this game was the Isa injury. Happened from a scrum, takes a carry up. Namo, an accidental knee to just above the ankle of Willie Isa. It's led to a fracture and a dislocation. They're going to wait and see how long wait and see scans and specialists and all the stuff that comes with it. And obviously we wish Willie Isa all the best.
Yeah.
He's got a grade F for it. At the time being, it's 5.
It's a grade E at the time being.
It was initially given grade F, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. It's gone down to a grade E. It's got 5 game ban. I think they've appealed the 5 games.
Yeah.
Or have they appealed the grading of it?
Well, they will have appealed how many games he's got. I don't think they're... He's definitely guilty, isn't he? Because he was reckless.
Yeah.
But I think they'll probably be arguing that it's more like a hip drop, which is 1 or 2 games.
My issue with this is when you watch Namo's position, he's not on his feet, because if he's on his feet, there's no way his knees can crash into Ice's ankles. But he's also not doveted.
No.
He's sort of dropped, and that's why I think it's more like a hip drop. And I do believe that hip drops should be more than 1 or 2 games. If you look at how the Aussies officiate them, hip drops are almost an automatic 4 or 5 game ban.
When you first watch it, I almost might get 2-3 games, but I thought 5 was a bit.
I think 5 is a bit harsh. I think he should have given the same as what you get.
I think it's reckless and lazy.
It was reckless and it was lazy, you're right, and it will endanger people if you tackle like that. But what does Asiata get? Was that 2 games? Or maybe even only 1 for diving at people's joints. The hip drop is...
The thing for me is if Namo's knee hits higher up his leg, he still breaks his leg. If he hits the knee, he's at risk of doing an ACL, MCL, whatever.
It's a very dangerous tackle.
And if he hits the ankle, he can break the ankle. There is no way that tackle happens and a player doesn't get seriously injured, because
unless his foot is implanted.
Yeah. Unless he's in the air. With Isa's foot down, it's game over.
I don't think though. I don't know if there was a video ref, would he have seen a card?
Yeah,
It might have done.
yeah. Because it happened so quickly, and I didn't even see what happened at the game. I just saw that Isa didn't get up.
Yeah.
And he wasn't happy. And
Isa
whatever.
was furious. I think he was upset
He even
more.
tried to get back up, I think.
Yeah, I think he was more upset at somebody telling one of the cast players told him to get up and carry on.
Yeah.
And I think he was more upset at that. But none of our lads were like asking for a penalty.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
None of our lads seemed
Slightly
to-
more explicit than that.
Well, maybe yeah.
But he looked seriously unhappy, screaming at the ref. It was such a Willie Isa moment.
In between puffs on the gas and her stick.
Yeah.
He was.
And trying to get up to play the ball.
Yeah.
He seemed adamant on getting up, and one of the physios almost had to bear hug him from behind to keep him on the ground.
Another good moment in all that, obviously, when obviously all the physios took him off and went
Yeah.
to sort of see to him in the changing room. And Chris Brooks gets the physio
What a man.
jumper on while he's in a suit pants, shoes, smart shoes, and he's just on the touchline in a physio jumper.
Who else
It's
as
absolutely
chairman would
brilliant.
do that? It's brilliant. I mean, why not? He's registered. He's a medical professional.
I kind of wanted to see another slight knock, see if it did
See
actually
if he ran on his
Yeah.
shoes. Yeah.
Or he'd just stand there and say, "Come on, get out of here now." But also, I want to comment. Willie Isa went on to social media after and obviously said that it's a complete accident. He's
He is.
he's not
That's exactly what he is. It's-
Yeah, he's not angry at Namo. He's not angry at anyone. It's just the moment of the game. You'd be upset being out of this game.
Yeah.
Um,
He said the comeback is on. It's going to be a tough one though.
I don't think we've seen the last of Willie Isa.
It'll be tough.
Oh no.
It'll be tough, but if anyone can come back from it, I think it'll be Willie.
That's the thing for me. If you were asking any player in this Wigan squad to come back from an injury,
Well, now Sean O'Loughlin's retired.
yeah,
It's Willie Isa.
well, there'd have to be a big game.
Yeah, Lockers will be back. It was a big game.
Um,
That chamber, Lockers used to use that cryogenic chamber to get ready for grand finals and Challenge Cup finals. If we can still rent that out again for Willie, get him ready for grand final day.
So I tweet somebody put out and saying, put your money on Willie Isa to play in the grand final.
yeah. So I'd put money on it. I wouldn't really doubt. But this 10 minutes post the Willie Isa injury, we sort of just seemed a little bit passive.
We were a bit shell-shocked, I think. We were a bit...
Well, there was a long stoppage as well. Wasn't there?
Long
It was
stoppage.
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and one of your teammates that you've been through everything with, you see down like that, you see him scream out in pain.
You know he's
One
a
of your
real-
leaders as well.
Yeah, you know he's a real tough guy as well, and to see him go off on a stretcher, he wouldn't have wanted to do that.
I think he even said no to a stretcher. They brought it
he,
on. He was
he
like,
tried to say no to the stretcher.
shaking his hand.
I think he needed it.
Yeah. They
I
cheered
did.
the stretcher coming on the Castleford fans. That shows something about them.
But Cass actually did what they needed to do. The players they capitalised in that moment with a try from Senior, a little kick in behind, and like I said, we just lost ice and December was on. We didn't just seem settled,
No.
and Miski shot up a little bit. Kieran was dropping off. December didn't really commit.
Field was in the defensive line.
It's hard to really blame anybody for this one. I think this a bit like what Lewis said last week about the try for Ricky Latelli.
If this is the try you conceded,
If this is the try you conceding, they've had to work really hard to score.
Yeah.
They've had to execute it. They've had to get it perfect.
And I'm going to mention something. Obviously, we watched the wheelchair match the other week ago. We spoke to Deck just after the game about the tries that Catalans scored from kicks, and there is that in the running version of the game that when you score from kicks, it's sort of like you've had to do something extra to
Yeah.
get them points, and conceding from a kick,
It's still worth 4, but it's
they've had to. Plan A and B haven't worked.
yeah.
They've had to go to Plan C, Plan D.
It depends. Doesn't it? You could always set up for a kick, and then, but sometimes obviously you've got sometimes a Hail Mary play, and
Yeah.
sometimes it just works for you. Whether depends when what's on your side or not.
But like I said, to go in 28 points to 6 up after the end of the second half, I honestly believe if the Isa injury doesn't happen, we keep rolling downfield and we could have been at 40, 46, whatever.
Don't forget, we took off O'Neill, Farrell, and Ellis after about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, that'll just take our 3 best balls off because we don't need them anymore.
And really funny, not funny, but we just took Farrell off for
I know,
December
I know.
and then had to bring Farrell
Yeah,
back
to come
on.
straight back on, yeah.
just them injuries at funny times. It's a funny old game, rugby league. But we're going 28 points to 6 up, and Matty Peets has a little bit of a chat. Probably just refocuses everyone. Obviously, that injury, we know what it does, and he refocused everyone. And we came back out very early. Abbas Miski gets his first try with a field assist.
Yeah.
Do we think about the obstruction? Probably.
Maybe.
If there's a video ref, it definitely gets
It would definitely have been chalked off, but I'm not.
I thought it was obstruction straight away.
Yeah, and Liam Moore thought about obstruction. He was asking his touch judge. I don't know. We scored out wide, and it was a man 3 in that was obstructed. But then, does it affect your shift? Does it affect your slide defence?
He'd have sent it up to the video ref.
He'd have sent it.
I don't think Millie gets there anyway.
No, he doesn't.
Try,
but they do chalk those off.
Yeah,
they do chalk those
And I'm
off.
going to be honest. Why are 2 Challenge Cup quarterfinals not being televised? That isn't good enough.
Well, every single Super League game is televised.
Yeah.
But this one,
I thought that was in the deal as well, that all the Challenge Cup games are going to be
it
televised.
should be. Well, realistically, from the quarterfinals onwards, that's only 7 games. They should all be on.
Yeah. Anyway, after the Miski's first try, Lehman gets on the board. Now this comes from a play the ball again in our about 45 metres from our own line. Jumps out from the play the ball, finds Patrick Maygo, the ball playing, standoff, prop, second row, or whatever he needs to be.
Big sexy.
Yep. And he actually takes it to the line and hits a cutout pass, missing out Harvey Hill.
It's a great ball.
To Junior December, who will probably never have as much room in his life.
No.
Dances through.
Not someone so big.
And, again, bodies in the picture. Cruz Lehman is still flying up on the inside, trying and get there. Does really well. He draws Broadbent, who doesn't really commit, and Lehman just steps back inside and does the job. But as you look beforehand, you can just see Field. He's also looking to fly up on the inside. He's there, trying to get involved in the play. And that's the brilliance of the way that we're going to play. They're playing everything in the moment. Eyes up footy.
For someone who doesn't like that phrase, you've said it 5 times in the last 2 weeks. I've never mentioned it. Lewis has never mentioned it.
You brought it up and now it's in my voice.
I think you need a jar every time.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll do that. I'll donate it to charity.
If you say eyes up footy, you have to put £1 in the jar.
I'll do that and I'll donate it to charity.
Or
I'm okay to do
if
that.
you say red zone or middles, put £1 in the jar.
What was it that
Good ball.
Barry said once?
Yardage, washing machine.
We're kicked to the 4th, 6th of the field. Remember that one? That stuck with me. Now a play that reminded me of a try we scored at Salford last year. We went to Salford. Farrell gets a ball from Harry Smith, drifts out wide and puts Field back on the inside. Little bit of a difference to it. Farrell takes the short ball from Smith, but Field keeps his overlapping run. And Farrell just commits one defender and creates the overlap.
It's very simple.
Very, very simple.
It's simple, but it's effective.
But it's really effective. Field then has a 3-on-2.
It's similar as well to the one we scored at Leeds, where last year, one of Marshall's tries.
Yeah.
We passed it out wide. It was one of my favourite tries.
Yeah. But Field with a 3-on-2. This is where I believe his game's massively improved. That he's now picking the right pass more often.
Yeah.
He's hitting the winger or the centre. He's reading what's going on better. And that's that
Yeah,
experience.
because he went through a stage last year where a lot of his passes wasn't.
But he was
hitting at all.
also passing because I think he was saying, I'm a 6 or pass.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes I think, like, just go yourself. You know, the threat is you.
Yeah.
If you're
They're scared of you.
If you're Jay Field, you're the threat, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's why it opens up Marshall. And I get the pass is on, but I think sometimes just tuck it and go yourself.
That's it for me. He runs at the centre. I think it's Sam. No, it's not Sam Wood. It was Tazipal, and he's going, "Are you going to commit to me? Because if you're not, I'm stepping and going." The winger has to jump up on Jake Wardle. He just cuts him out.
Gives him a hug, don't he? Gives Wardle a hug.
Yeah, really simple.
I'd give Jake Wardle a hug.
Yeah,
I'd love to give him a hug.
yeah.
If
you're listening, we'll line up for you.
But
Crack a
again,
smile.
Yeah.
Marshall finishes really well, and then he goes on to get his 4th try straight after it. This time from Bevan French, our old line. Smith first receiver. French
Weird, it's on the left hand side.
Yeah.
So you've basically got two fullbacks in this situation in attack.
And again, Field's there. What do you do if you're a centre? And you're seeing Field, French has got the ball in his hand, Field's there. You Wardle, what do you do?
You've got Wardle and Marshall outside. I don't know. What
And French hits probably probably one of the biggest cut-out balls I've seen for a while. 25 yards.
Yep.
Marshall, open space. He's going to finish it every day of the week.
But we know if you're attacking the line and you've got French and Field out the back, and you've got Wardle and Marshall out wide, whatever, Miskey on the other side, Kieran, that it's impossible to defend against. But you have to have a platform. You have to get there.
Yeah.
You need your forwards
Yeah.
to carry you there. And our forwards in this game, unbelievable.
Well,
the way they made the meters.
I'm really obviously disappointed that the Challenge Cup, there is no stats that you can see online anywhere. And if you have got the link to that, someone listening, please send them over because I can't find them. But I'd love to see how many play the balls we had in the opposition's 20. In Cassie's 20 metre defensive line, we must have had over 50-60 tackles easily. Because we scored 12 tries, was it? So that's at least.
Well, you'd say at least half of them were from play the balls on a goalpost.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, we could have scored so many more tries. The amount of times we'd fumble the ball and go try to get it
two into
right.
touch, didn't we?
Yeah.
Remember right?
Yeah.
Now this, if you're a Castleford fan, probably the most disappointing try of them all.
Oh, definitely.
Straight from the scrum, Jake Wardle.
Yeah.
You're 45, well, if you're a Cast, 35 metres out.
That burst of pace again.
It's so simple, but it's so effective.
But we didn't put a play on.
No,
it's not like Harry Smith has come round like he normally does from an attacking scrum.
It's just he's gone to step the ball in.
Yeah.
So he lines up to take the ball in naturally, and then without any warning or any sort of wind up whatsoever,
that left foot shimmy
goes to top speed.
But that left foot shimmy just straightens it up.
You can defend against top speed, and you can defend against normal play, but you can't defend against someone who goes to top speed that quickly.
And the intelligence. He just that little shimmy to get inside Richardson, who can't do anything about it. He'll be disappointed, but he can't do anything about it. Miskey then gets in the corner with another diving finish. Bevan French, another cut-out ball, the second of his try assist this game. And again, really great work from the team to set up into that position and get in position there. Our last try of the game came from Tyler Dupree. Now, I said Wardle's was probably most disappointing, but watching this and seeing Harry Smith realise that the play wasn't on, then look to kick and realise the kick wasn't on, and then think about just taking a tackle, walking towards one of the prop forwards. I'm not sure who it was. But again, no one commits to him, and he just runs at one prop forward, remotely draws him, and just puts Dupree into his hands. Like,
simple.
There was no effective play there.
Yeah, it's very simple, isn't it?
This you can forgive not being
good enough.
But
effort, running up, going again, and it must be hard when you're 40 points to 6 down, when you're 50 points to 6 down, and you know you're out of a cup semi-final, and you know points difference.
You can accept conceding tries to your Field, French, your Marshall.
Yeah.
But that type of try,
a try from a scrum, must just be so disappointing.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what Craig Lingard can say to his team that would make him feel better. I don't think there is anything that would make him and the Cass fans.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Wayne Bennett would get any more out of this team.
all he can say really is on to the next one and
play
Wigan next.
Get a few bodies back. I mean, they've obviously got another tough game this week against us again, but they do get quite a few players back next week. They've got the other senior.
Yeah, he'll be in
on loan 2 weeks. He'll be playing against us. I think they'll be alright, I suppose.
They've not got Nakabuai yet,
which
is the reported one.
I think he's injured.
Well, they've said Anthony Lee I mean, obviously they're going to say this, but they said they're not looking at offloading any players at the minute.
Maybe they should.
It's really interesting.
Give
Wigan,
a chance.
Wigan. 2 words sums it up. Professional. Ruthless.
I wrote 3 words.
Yeah, I thought clinical was the same as professional. I was putting them together.
Those are not the same thing.
I'm putting them there. We just did the job. Everything turned up. Everyone did the job. Almost as perfect as can be, really.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anybody you can look at and go, you didn't really jump up there. Thompson played, I think he only played 35 to 40 minutes.
Mago did.
Mago put a stint in at 60.
Yeah.
Most minutes I've ever seen Mago.
And he played at prop 13 and eventually went to the last second row because we took Farrell back off.
Yeah.
Dupree put a stint in. Must have been 50, 60 minutes.
He deserved his try.
Harvey Hill, really good shift.
He just gets better week on week, I feel.
Yeah. December, brilliant. Lehman on for a long spell. And that's probably given us a chance to rest a couple of players who've done big minutes, like Thompson and O'Neill.
Maybe.
And Isa.
To the point
And Farrell, sorry.
To the point where actually, we're thinking about Mike Cooper coming back into this side. I don't think I'd be dropping Harvey Hill.
No.
Well, he probably comes in for the injury of Isa when December starts.
Probably,
and we'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
there's no one here that he says they're definitely out. There's no one there that you go in definitely doesn't play next week.
there's the weak link of our team. There
Yeah.
isn't one, and
You're going to add to that Liam Byrne in 2 weeks.
I thought
Ethan Havard.
Ethan Havard, Sam Walters.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for those two. And I don't know how he's going to get. I mean, he probably won't get all of them fit at the same time, but I don't know how he's going to pick a lineup from these incredible forwards. But that's why you have a good squad.
Well, we might put a Twitter post out that, assuming Ellis plays 13, pick your two starting props and your 3 bench props.
And then no second row on the bench. So,
but assuming he could have December there if Sam Walters starts at second row,
maybe
who could do a shift at prop, and has done shifts at prop for Leeds.
Well, December could do a shift at prop as well.
Yeah.
I think Walters would be the one to play there because he played there more. I mean, we're not even mentioning Tiaki Chan, who's
Sam Essay when he's back.
Yeah, he never let us down. Chan when he's played. Essay is exciting.
I thought it was funny. Harvey Makins now got a game in the Super League. Playing for London on loan, but I actually think it's more difficult as a prop to go and play in them games where you're getting bullied and you're on weaker side. So that's going to be a big learning curve for.
We have another Harvey as well. Harvey Wilson. He's on loan at Bradford. That's a decent standard.
Yeah, brilliant. We'll actually put that tweet out. I've just decided we're going to put that tweet out after this and let you comment. I want to see how different it's going to be.
Well, no one will. It won't be like everyone will pick the same 5.
And even if you do, if you don't, you can't really argue with anyone getting picked.
No. And before this season, I would have said no way is made.
You could probably name 4 certain, but then there's probably one.
Yeah.
Right, that wraps up this game. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back after to talk about the 3 other cup quarter-finals and maybe a little bit of Super League news. Thank you. So the first of our quarter-final games was Saturday, just after dinner time, over in Hull. A replay of the final.
When did you have your dinner at 5 o'clock?
Bit late.
Late dinner.
Depends on how posh I call it, dinner instead of tea. But
Job bit.
Yeah.
replay of the final, of last year's final. Hull KR this time managed to get the win. There was no need for a drop goal from Lachlan Lamb. Hull KR, probably, I think this was a fair result. 26-14.
They deserved the win.
It felt like a 2-try win.
Yeah.
It felt. I don't think anyone's got any real complaints with it. Lee still looking.
I expected Hull to win before it.
And I think if you said Hull would win by 10, you'd probably say, looking at the sides, that was what you would expect.
Yeah. Although they did score right on the hooter with a desperate play.
Yeah. I just think it was all. It was what you expect. This was the game you would expect it.
Lee were much better than they were against us.
Yeah, much better. I think they're still a little bit weak in the pack.
They had Tom and Moore back, didn't they?
Yeah, Tom and Moore back.
Bit of a boost for him.
He was a big boost actually. With the ball in hand, he was fantastic.
He's out of contract if you want.
Yes, actually, that's true. That's true, actually.
Leaves him a prop.
Asiata and Mulhern and Charnley. That's three pretty influential players.
Yeah. There's talk of Asiata going to the Cowboys one last year.
I don't remember
The
that.
end of last year.
Yeah.
Might be wrong though.
I think there was talk about him going
Said no
somewhere.
stress, wasn't
Yeah.
But Lee, is it just a waiting game for them? Do you think waiting for some bodies back, some more bodies?
I think it is because you can't take two of your key members out your spine and expect.
And then move Thingy out as well. O'Brien was out
Yeah.
injured.
Yeah, no more
Well,
Brian.
it's free
So,
play, like,
so
it's
Moylan,
back.
your 6 shifts. It was a complete change.
Really, they only had.
As good as
Wow.
Brad Dwyer's been for him in his time,
He wasn't the starting nine.
No.
No.
Pepe's being massive.
Massively. He does a lot of the defensive work. I know I mentioned it last week. Hull KR, we said at the start of the season that they had Budgie in reserve.
Yeah, we always thought though that once they unleashed him, it was going to be hard to drop him then because of the sort of player that he is.
But pretty much everything that we predicted, that Hiku would end up playing in the centres, Evalds would go to full back and Budgie would come onto the wing. The only thing is Opacek played left centre and Gilly's back now.
So one of them has to drop, don't they? And it's Gildas at the minute.
I've always seen Opacek as a left centre, anyway. I'm sure he always played left centre.
But Gilly and
he
Hall
can do
had that
both,
brilliant
but-
combination, didn't he?
They had Kenny Dell, didn't they? So he was always
It's
on
like
the left.
Burgess playing on the right, but he's always been a left wing.
Yeah,
But if he's just there to finish tries, then you're not going
they
to
didn't
play.
really matter. I think, yeah.
I just think Gilly and Hall had that brilliant combination that was the strike for them.
Yeah, but
Early
in
on.
previous years, Gildart and Burgess have been an unbelievable partnership for us.
But what I mean is you would assume Gildat would walk back in off his early season form. He goes out with a HIA, you would expect him to walk back in.
I don't know.
But the fact that Hiku's now playing right centre,
Opacek's
you can't drop Hiku because of the money he's on.
Opacek's a decent player. I don't know.
I'd have taken Opacek.
Yeah.
I just don't know who. Hiku's definitely playing, and he would be the one that I would drop out of Gilly, Opacek, Hiku. He would be the one that I would drop. With the money he's on full max money. He's going to be playing, isn't he? To play centre, he's going to have to play.
It's a tricky conundrum, but it doesn't matter if you're winning the games.
Yeah.
You pick whoever you want if you're winning games.
It's when you start losing that there's an issue.
Yeah.
Hull KR through to the semi. They get a repeat of the semi-final playing Wigan. That'll be a brilliant game and one that both sides I think will be looking forward to.
Yeah. Let's hope it's A, not raining. Raining.
Got to be for a
It was raining cats and dogs, and B, no red cards.
Yeah. Let's go to France. Catalans versus Huddersfield. Now, out of all the games, there was a question mark over the Saints-Warrington game. Who you think would win? Would be a close
You're
game.
going to be Gary Neville. This was the banker. This was one.
This was the banker.
This was the slam dunk.
Yeah. Along with Wigan beating Cass
Catalan in the incredible navy blue kit.
in form
I wonder what
at
that came up
home.
before.
Best kit in Super League. That was unreal. Unbelievable kit. That. Shame they wasted on this kit.
It was really weird that Hull KR, you could say could swing either way.
Yeah.
You were looking at Wigan versus Cass as being a banker. You were looking at Catalans at home,
It's a
top of the
Cooper
league,
Buster.
Against Huddersfield.
being the banker.
Having just dealt with Saints.
Yeah. And
The matter took a bit more out of them than we thought.
but Huddersfield hadn't been in great form. Don't forget that. Huddersfield
just put 50 on 3 teams in a row. But they were Hull FC twice in London.
Yeah, you can't say that. They'd lost to Hull KR,
You can't say they're in bad form though. If they
but any real competitive game, they'd already lost to Saints, to
Hulls.
Wigan, to Hull KR, the competitive teams.
So as any top team does, they'll always time it right towards the end of the season.
I just think I don't know. I don't think anyone could have ever predicted Huddersfield winning, and winning in the manner that they did.
Catalan with their all French spine.
They'll be looking for some bodies back in that spine. They want McElaurin back. What's his name? The fullback.
Morg.
Morg.
Well, I think he's out for a while, isn't he, Abdul? But they don't really know how long.
Have they got a date on Nicarima being back as well?
Well, he's back in training.
Is he back in training? I just think... I don't know how to view this game. Is it a blip for Catalan?
Yeah.
And it's a one-off and whatever? They have to bounce back next week.
It's okay.
This is a massive game for Catalan. I don't want to talk it up, but to lose the way they did in a quarter-final to Huddersfield... Listen, if you do that to Wigan or whatever, and you have a bad day at the office, and Wigan or Saints or Warrington run that points on you, or Hull KR do it, you can look at it.
Who do they play this week, Catalan?
Hull KR at home.
Mm.
Yeah, I think if then they play us at
They play.
place.
Yeah, they play us there. Well, I think there's another game.
Oh
in
no,
between.
it's Hull KR after that.
There's another game in between. I don't know who they've got for that.
But this is serious. This for Catalan. The manner it's the manner of the defeat.
They'll have been expecting much better from this. Yeah, because of how easily they were beaten. And you look at the first try, Connor was just strolling
he just
in.
walked in.
Yeah.
There was a couple of tries where you go, the effort wasn't there, and
the last one from Nicarima.
Yeah.
I don't want to question. For a side that's done so well, I don't want to question effort, but that's how it
because
looked.
you just look at their effort against St Helens and it was unbelievable.
It just looked
So
like...
they can clearly do it.
Even the try that Catalan scored, it was I feel like that was just based off poor defence from Huddersfield. They just kind of sneaked through.
Yeah, they didn't look to be too attacking. They didn't look like an attacking threat there.
They didn't throw any real shapes for that try.
Really, I don't know how to judge it. Were Huddersfield, as the process worked? Ian Watson trusts the process. They're going to play Warrington now in the semi-final. Who are still a team learning. I know they've got a big result, but they're going to have mistakes in them. Could Ian Watson...
They're into a Challenge Cup semi-final. They've probably won more games than they've lost this year.
Yeah.
They've put some points on some bad teams. I think if you're a Huddersfield supporter, you've got to be thinking positively.
The next step for Huddersfield is the fact that they've played in the league 3 good sides, Hull KR, Wigan and Saints, and lost to all 3, quite
well
simply.
You know where they're going on Friday? Headingley.
Got to put a performance in there.
If they put in a good performance at Headingley, that will make a lot of people notice.
Yeah, and I think that puts them into top 6 candidates.
I agree.
Very, very strong.
I agree.
They've had a bit of a rocky start as well. I mean, they beat Lee in the first game, and then since then they've not.
Yeah, they had a few.
Got nil to Tommy at the Saints.
Yeah.
And we put.
I think this could be a massive turning point for them, really. Right, last game. Everyone saw this being a close game. I don't think anyone, whether you backed Saints or whether you backed Warrington beforehand. What was the prediction percentage? Was it like 51-49?
55 for Saints on this one, and I think that was just home advantage. You and Lewis went for home advantage with Saints just for that reason.
And whoever you would back in this, I don't think anyone could have been critical of you.
No, it would buy you. I was backing Warrington by 2 or 4, and you know.
I think the handicap was 2.
Not by 23.
No.
Warrington to win 31 points to 8. Sam Burgess, he's bought himself so much time now with that big result, and it gives him time to do more things.
It is a really good result.
It's a massive result for Warrington. What about the pressure it puts on Paul Wellens?
Well, 2 weeks ago they were on top of the world, beating the world champions. They were the best team ever. Now heads have gone. 5 changes needed, 6 changes needed. They're upset with him for picking the same side. They need all new wingers.
I've seen some sense on him calling for his head.
I've seen that as well. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous after 2 defeats, especially when one of them was dead close in France.
Well, I saw a lot of people.
And you could argue that they probably should have won that game if Dodd gets that.
If Dodd gets that ball down, they win the game. We spoke about that last week, and so you're an unbelievable try saver away from winning in the south of France off the back of
Beating
Wigan on Good Friday.
Or they could have nailed them in France. Some teams.
Yeah.
But this is what we talked about. We said for a while, and I've seen a few Saints fans saying, I'd love to see how many teams that beat Saints and then lose the week after. It's actually the same thing here. They managed to get a result against Wigan, a 12-man Wigan, for 35 minutes, and it's took it out of them. They looked flat, they looked lethargic. Obviously watched the game on recording because we were at Castleford on the coach back. They looked flat. We stopped at a service station, Matty, and we were watching it on the phone. It looked like a lack of...
Yeah.
It looked like they didn't have that next gear to go to. Moments that Matt Duffy
Even the try that they scored was a bit of good fortune with the bounce of the ball.
Yeah, it was a lucky bounce. I do like the work Batchelor did to get the assist for the try. I thought it was quite clever, but it was a lucky bounce. Very lucky bounce.
But I just want to comment, looking at the try, was it Williams' try?
The Williams try where
They've clearly
Duffy just
seen
carved
something in the
through.
defence. He rounds Duffy. Wonga Blades took a lot of criticism, but I actually think he did what he had to do. His man's the centre. He just doesn't look great when you then run off holding the hamstring.
It looks bad, but actually it's not his fault.
But let's just
Wellsby trying to tackle James Harrison.
Yeah.
Done for him.
I just want to dive into...
I thought that was a great ball from Sam Powell.
I'm not saying any fullback would have stopped him, but it did look funny the way he just bounced off him.
I just want to dive into the points scored by Saints. Even in the year of the 4-peat or whatever you want to call it, the defence won them games and they'd get 20 to 30 points and you wouldn't be able to get anywhere near them. The points that they scored 8 against Warrington, 8 against Catalan, 12 against us, 20 against Leeds in a win, 18 against Leeds in a win. They got 20 against Salford. They got 12 in a win against Lee, 28 against Huddersfield when they nilled them, and 40 against London.
Which is probably worth about 18.
Yeah,
If
and
you think
I'm
about what
actually
everyone
going
else
to
has done to London.
look at London's losses. Bar the loss to Hull FC, I think that's the lowest points they've conceded. Well, Huddersfield scored 26 against them. Everyone else has scored more points than Saints against London. And I just think I've called them predictable in the past. They like the short side play, they like the short side kick, they like the kick to the post and the barge over of a Percival or a barge over of a Hurrell on the right hand side.
He was a little bit of a Daryl Alford's moment, Conrad Hurrell in this game, blowing a kiss to the camera and then going on to get destroyed.
I just...
So early in the game.
If it's too early for the end of the
fair enough, like, if you beat Wigan and score a late try, fair enough.
It's so early in the game to be blowing kisses.
I just look at them and it's predictable.
Reminds me of when Louis McCarthy scored a try against us one day.
He dabbed.
And it dabbed.
And it was
got shot off from obstruction.
It was most obvious obstruction that I've ever seen as well. It was definitely not a try. It was definitely never a try. It was so obviously an obstruction. Everyone stopped. Dab right in front of the away end.
It was brilliant.
But where does Wellens change things? Does he rip up the playbook that won you 4 in a row and got you to a whatever situation last year and got you beating Wigan?
I'm seeing a lot of comments about lack of pace. They signed T. Ritson as a flyer from the Championship over. I think he's from League 1 actually.
40 grand was it for playing so many games on loan? Just want to drop that in there. We didn't get him on a free.
He's not getting a look in now. He's been dropped out to the 21 altogether now.
Almost doubling down. Obviously Percival back.
He's not being picked over a young fullback who's playing out on the wing. Saints fans are calling it, or is that as well?
I've seen a lot of.
He's good enough. I don't think it's fair on Anderson.
A lot of people blaming Dodd. A lot of people saying it's not Dodd. It's actually Lomax. The Saints fans can't seem to decide whose fault it is. Not many are blaming Wellens really.
It's Harry Smith's fault.
Maybe it's Willie Ice's fault.
But it comes down to where it's going wrong, if that makes sense. Where is the issue? Because at the moment it's Dodd was a superstar going to the NRL and he was going to turn the NRL down, and then
Now he's on the brink of signing a new deal.
Yeah. Lomax. There was a strange moment in this game with Lomax where he made a mistake, and in my opinion it was his mistake, and they started shouting around him and having a go at a few of the players around him. And that's your captain. Does that just maybe just put a warning sign that there's a few issues there that...
Worth saying, Warrington were red hot.
Oh, they were brilliant.
And as bad as St Helens were, you got to give Wire some credit because they were fantastic.
They're a team of big players.
And
George Williams, Matt Duffy.
And if you want to talk about lack of pace, Warrington totally make up for it with Duffy, Ashton, Thewlis. Williams is no slouch. You got some pace. Connor Wrench.
Yeah. Who played out on the wing?
Thewlis and Ashton were the wingers.
Yeah, sorry, Wrench.
And Wrench was a centre.
Wrench was a centre.
They are a quick team, but I don't know. I really don't know for Saints.
No.
This is as bad a performance from Saints I've seen in the last 5-6 years. In
Oh,
a big
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
In a big game. You can have off days at the office.
And they got it's another trophy they won't win.
They're now fighting for 2.
Yeah, there's 2 left for them. And as bad as they were, and as good as Warrington were, I'm glad they're out. I don't buy into the whole wanting a Wigan Saints final.
No, I don't want that.
I don't care. I don't mind who we play in the final really, but I'm not desperate for Saints to do well. I'd rather play any team in the final than Saints because it means Saints have done well to get to the final.
I don't think I wanted it to be a Wigan Saints final because I think it would have done well in the sales.
Yeah, but Wigan Warrington would do well in the sales as well.
There is that also.
Will do well in sales.
Wigan will do well if they get there.
But right, that really.
Huddersfield might bring 12.
No, it's 14.
Ken Davies has got a few new friends that can bring
Chris
along.
McQueen's coming. He might get man at match.
Oh,
You were quick, weren't you? For a second row.
they love to try.
He did love a try.
Right.
Decent defender too.
I backed him every week once. For that season he was scoring.
Yeah,
I backed him every week because it was 5.
He
just got scored.
He scored every week and he was a decent defender as well. He was a really good player.
Right. That wraps up the Challenge Cup quarter-finals. Obviously, the semi-final draw's been made. Wigan will play Hull Car.
Doncaster.
Doncaster. Warrington will play Huddersfield at
Saints.
Saints. 2 good semi-finals. Can't wait for them. But it would be unfair to wrap up this section where we talked about Super League clubs without talking about the big news. Hull FC. We've talked about how long they were going to get away with not sacking or not making changes. Well, they've made the change. They've sacked Tony Smith.
They didn't even lose this week.
I know. That's what I don't get.
They didn't even lose.
Why sack him?
Should have just sacked him last week and given the new person 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's Thingy Griggs, isn't it? One of the Griggs boys.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But he
Is
was
it
an
Scott?
assistant coach there.
Yeah, he's just interim.
And then,
Well,
then Danny Houghton has come out and said that he's really changed everything at the club.
Well, he can't because he's only had a few days.
I know. This is what I don't get.
What's he done? Painted it.
They got rid of 2 players.
Yeah. Tex Hoy, who was apparently not happy with Tony Smith, left the day before they sacked Tony Smith.
What a
They
joke.
put it back on the wall.
New
Brown has left on compassionate grounds.
He came in, Scott Griggs, he said, "That's not my club. Get it off."
But actually, New Brown has left, gone to St George. They've left him on compassionate grounds.
Yeah.
His Instagram post was rather funny.
Yeah.
There are some nice parts of Hull, he said.
He said, I heard all about Hull before I came, but it's not all true. There are some nice places.
Which is possibly the most strangest leaving
It
message.
is a backhanded compliment almost. It's a bit of a parting blow.
Mm.
Like the Greg round the corner.
Yeah.
I just... Like I said, it's really strange. This Richie Myler, should mention, is now the director of rugby.
Yeah. Retired, and then the same day became director of rugby somewhere.
Retired to a long-standing elbow injury.
Yeah.
I just don't get...
Does he not do any writing all them checks?
Yeah.
Does not do his elbow any good. He's there's rumours about his father-in-law potentially investing and maybe giving Richie this job was part of that.
I don't know. I don't buy into them until it happens. But a change has been made. 3 nice easy games for the new coaching staff. Saints away, Leeds at home, and then Warrington away. All before the cup break.
They might sack the interim.
Tremor Cass sacked
And he lost.
They had him on interim for about 14 weeks. Appointed him and then sacked him about 5 weeks later. That was strange.
They just when the fans just did a sit-in protest and refused to leave. How bonkers was last year?
Yeah.
Ken Seo fell in a pothole at training. Hurt his leg. Those Bulls got on the pitch at Catalan.
Yeah. God, that was a mad season, wasn't it?
Mad season. Castleford fans having a protest sitting. Darryl Pell refused to leave the box. In Copperfield in the last box.
Oh, I forgot that.
He refused.
Warrington won the league in March.
Warrington had already won the league in March.
Darryl Powell in the pub.
It's a mad.
One of my favourite
Bucket hats in Catalan.
What a mad game.
Matty Pete should have been sacked after we lost in the
got beat by Leeds, didn't we?
Well, is it I was on about at Magic.
Oh, Magic.
After we got beat at Magic, after losing to Saints, Matty Peach had been sacked. We lost to Wakefield.
And then after the semi-final, they didn't run, did they?
We lost to Wakefield in Golden Point. What a season. Right, that wraps up this section. We'll come back, a little bit of a chat about the NRL, and then we'll be back with some Super League predictions. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again after the break. We've got a little bit of the run through the NRL. We're going to fly through some predictions. First thing, we've just been chatting off the recording. Every game's really close. 8 games.
Yeah.
Biggest winning margin was 14 points and 12 points respectively in them 2 games. And both teams picked up some really big injuries in them games.
There was a draw. There was
A Golden Point
Point win. Yeah.
Let's fly through them.
To say we usually have 3 runaway wins every week in the Super League out of 6. To say all 8 were pretty close within 3 scores.
First one was Newcastle Sydney Roosters. The Roosters winning 22 points to 20. Really close game.
Roosters needed this win.
Roosters definitely needed it, and I think it basically came down to the fact that I think from the right, the Roosters get an extra penalty that they kicked 2 on and was really close.
A big difference for Roosters is Joey Manu.
Yeah.
When he
didn't he run over 300 metres or 290?
Yeah, he broke the record.
He broke the record. Yeah. Did you see Pierce Paul's run? Those rampaging run. They led to having a best try.
Doing really well.
But with Joey Manu, when he plays at centre, he's not as effective as it can be at full back, and it's nothing against Tedesco because we all know what Tedesco is.
Yeah.
But when Manu's at full back, is
you could even argue they've got Soli, who played full back for.
I remember saying that in the World Cup, Roosters have got 3
full-backs.
3 international full-backs.
Yeah.
But they all made the semi-finals.
It's all right.
That's one. Joey Manu's going to Japanese rugby, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone one with lost the game.
A lot of money.
He's got to sign a 1-year deal worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's back.
I think he'll be back. Yeah, I think he'll be back.
Yeah. Melbourne Canterbury. Melbourne winning 16 points to 14, scoring with 5 minutes left. Nina kicking the conversion. One of them that I think the Bulldogs will rue. They missed.
They had the chance.
They had the chances. They only kicked 1 conversion, and that probably cost them.
They had a few knocks as well, Bulldogs.
Yeah,
they had a couple of players with broken hands, and
some.
I think Phil Gould said Connor Tracy was struggling with an injury and he had to play full back.
I think they had 13. I want something like that. Almost a full lineup of missed players.
And of this for Canterbury.
Yeah.
And to say at the start of the season, Gus was saying there's only Ryan Sutton injured. And now they've already got 13 injuries.
Yeah.
That's how ruthless it can be.
The 3 knocked out by the Roosters that were out with concussions.
When's Ryan Sutton's contract up?
It's a good question. I can't imagine he has more.
I can't see him coming back because they've just had
settled. They settled, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem to rate him, Bulldogs, but he's just not stayed fit, has he?
No. Right, off to a Brisbane rivalry. Brisbane versus the Dolphins. Dolphins suffered here with a massive injury. They're obviously already missing Herbie. The Hammer gets injured in this game 25 minutes in, and real big loss for them. They lose by 14.
They built this as the Battle of Brisbane, didn't they? But Dolphins haven't actually got Brisbane in the name.
I know.
It's weird that Dolphins just called the Dolphins.
Yeah.
The
Redcliffe.
Queensland, Queensland Cup teams on
Redcliffe Dolphins. You should just call them that, or just call them Brisbane Dolphins.
This one, really close game. Actually ended in a draw. The New Zealand Warriors were almost out. Should have been out of it, should I say?
Got away with them though, New Zealand. I didn't think that was a penalty at the end at all.
Do you remember that last year, that bloke who had the sign that said, "If I die, bury me in a Warriors jersey so I can come back"? They're the kings of the comeback, aren't they?
Yeah, late tries.
You can never count them out.
Lionel getting his try again.
Yeah.
And both teams missing.
That try from Johnson was
unbelievable.
He's phenomenal.
I can't believe how good he still is. Because say people were writing him off.
Well, let's just say it. I think the Premiership candidates this year, because they played poor and still performed.
They need
well
him
enough
to
get a
stay
point.
fit though.
They need Johnson to stay fit. Next year, adding James Fisher-Harris, they obviously lose for Noah Blake.
Yeah, so somebody said they're going to lose the second best prop in the league and replace him with the third best, and he's also homegrown. that's ridiculous.
And he can play 80 minutes.
And he can play 80 minutes. So impact wise, he
Well, I
might
was
be.
just going to say Fisher-Harris must be the best prop in the comp.
I think impact wise, I think he's not, but I think because he can play 80 minutes.
Well, he won Golden Boot, didn't he? Best player in the world last
Yeah.
year.
I think
Well-
he's so valuable.
No, they got away with one at the end. Warriors had it. Obviously, Johnson's going for the drop goal, and Josh Alloy is running through, and he just catches him with his knee running through with his leg that he's kicking with, and
It's harsh to give that as a penalty.
They give a couple of them last year.
They
though.
did give a couple.
no,
of
I know
very
there was.
consistent with it.
I know there was one in the New South Wales Cup. It was South Sydney Rabbits. It was the NSW's Cup team,
Yeah.
and I know Lachlan Elliott. He's ended up breaking his leg. He's gone for a kick, and I can't remember who the other player was, but he's ran through and he's obviously caught him with his knee.
They are bad.
And they've given him, obviously, I think they've given him quite a hefty ban.
In the
I
World
can't
Cup
remember
Challenge, when Taruva went for that, tried to keep that ball in, and his knees crashed into each other. That's always dangerous when your knee crashes into somebody else's knee, or both your knees crash together. That's a really dangerous.
Yeah. Parramatta, they were the team that were probably most desperate for a win. Obviously losing Mitch Moses, but they came out 27 points to 20.
Yeah.
What was it at half time?
14-10.
14-10 they were winning, but completed at just
35%.
35%.
That's
and
ridiculous.
you're going in.
This one surprised me.
I was
because
watching it and I
Cowboys
was
have been
thinking,
decent.
Cowboys obviously came out of the box. I mean, they made a line break in the first set. Cal Felt broke line, and then they just went on a roll from that. They got away with a couple. Parramatta, they had a couple of disallowed tries.
Yeah.
One of them was a great tackle from Sean Russell. They stopped Tulangi scoring in the corner.
But if you're a Cowboys fan, what are you thinking? They've had
Yeah.
some brilliant results,
They've played really well for a lot of games, and
then really badly.
they have played. They were poor in this game. I was expecting better from them in this game.
It's I just don't get them. I really don't get that side.
They're a
South-
funny team.
Yeah,
They're a funny team, Cowboys. They should be in the top four,
but
but
they're not.
They'll be like 5 to 8, won't they?
yeah.
Right, probably the strangest situation I've ever seen in terms of a rugby coach getting sacked. South Sydney Rabbitohs. He was told that he had this game to prove himself, and he had to. Basically, if he lost, he was out.
Well, that's the rumour.
That's the rumour.
We don't know if that's actually true or not, but it was very strong.
And then within the first half, they lose three players, 2 injuries in the game. They had 2 HIAs. Cam Murray, the young fullback on debut, went for a HIA.
He looked good. He looked
He
sharp.
looked really good. But at half time, Tom Burgess was defending at centre to end that to end that play. And I found myself just thinking, like, what do you do there? You can't sack someone after losing 3 players for the game.
They've probably seen that as well and thought,
But what a stupid thing to come out that he's got this game to prove it.
Well, they're on a bye this week, so he's got another week at least.
Yeah. Maybe they sack him after the bye.
Like
Do a
they
whole-
did with Tony
they've
Smith.
just brought in David Fern as assistant coach.
Yes, I saw that.
Defence.
That'll be a big one for them. St George get a win. They beat the Tigers.
Yep.
12 points to 24. 2 sides that look to have some improvement, but
I
consistency
thought
is
West
the
would
issue.
have won. I thought Westmount have
Yeah,
pipped them though.
they have been much better. This
Dragons
season.
are a funny team because whenever you think
They
well,
find
they might get beat here, and they found a way to win.
But you go through spells where you think, like, they're a good side here. They've actually got a decent building, and then they put in some of the worst performances you've ever seen.
I don't think
They've got a top 8 team, Dragons.
I don't know if they do. I think there's a lot of talent in the NRL, and it is quite well spread out. It's not like this country. So I think you could make an argument that you could look at anyone's squad and say, oh, they could go on a run and get top 8. Whereas here, you wouldn't think that. For a lot of teams, there's
I think if you put it on paper, I don't think it's a top 8 compared to everyone else.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it
Lomax
is.
looked good again on the wing.
Yeah.
With the losing in. They're going for David Fafita, the rumour is.
He looks good on the wing, but he's an expensive winger. They pay him as a winger.
Last game, really, to talk about. Canberra winning in extra time to Gold Coast.
And he got away with one as well.
Yeah, 21 points to 20. First of all, Desi's got to be happier with that performance from Gold Coast.
Yeah.
They should have won.
They
should have won, really, Nick.
There was
extra time.
There was one about a penalty, wasn't there? They had to play the ball 10 metres out.
That young lad on debut, I think he was.
Strange, was it?
No, it wasn't Strange.
Sam.
No, it was a forward, I think. He charged down a drop goal, and then they went to the other end and Fogarty kicked one. What, I think he were offside to play the ball, and they used to check that.
Yeah, they don't.
They checked it last year, and they give a penalty under sticks for somebody.
I was listening to the Phil Gould podcast that he does on Now World of Sports.
6 tackles.
Yeah.
Matt.
And
Matt Thompson.
Matt Thompson.
Yeah, Matt Thompson.
And
he's good as well.
He said about obviously coach rivalries, how coaches go up against each other and they genuinely don't like each other. And obviously after that game, obviously Des Hasler said it. The amount of penalties that Gold Coast should have had and they didn't, and Ricky should have said. It is on a different planet.
Yeah.
What other game is he watching?
Ricky is a bit like that though. Ricky is.
But Phil Gould
he
said.
likes to comment, doesn't he?
He does like a comment.
But Phil Gould said he texted him like obviously a couple of days after, and he said he was still rambling on about Des Hasler complaining about that penalty.
Well, they would have worked together, wouldn't it? The Roosters, Gould and
they were.
Ricky. They would have worked together at the Roosters.
That's one thing I like about Ricky. He doesn't let things go.
Oh, he doesn't miss his words, no, and he's happy to be quoted with what he thinks. I don't mind that. He does like riling people up, though.
Yeah. Right, that wraps up the NRL. Got some predictions to do. Cam, while you're the guest on, we'll let you go last.
You can play for Lewis. Yeah. He's currently on, I think, 31.
Yeah.
I've got 32. The listeners are on 34. They're leading.
I go safe this week and everyone loses.
No, you're not. Yeah.
I went safe with Catalans and Saints and they lose.
Where are you? Let's have a look. I'm not sure what you're on, but it's definitely less than 30.
Yeah, 29 it was. Anyway.
Yeah, you're on 29.
First prediction, Matty. Leeds versus Huddersfield. Who are you going? Probably one of the games of the round. If I'm being honest.
The listeners have gone for Huddersfield by 54%.
Ooh. I thought you were going to say by 54 points.
No. That would be an unusual Twitter poll if we could get that sorted. No, 54% has gone for Huddersfield. I think I'm going to disagree. I think it's always hard coming off the back of a trip to France and Headingley's a tough place to play.
Leeds with a week off.
I think I'm just going to sneak for a Leeds win.
Exact same reason I'm going Leeds.
Yeah.
Cam?
I think Leeds just.
It's
a good point about obviously Catalan and going to Headingley. Week after, Wigan made it look quite easy last year.
Offshore.
They're probably two of the worst grounds to go to traditionally.
We did have Saturday to Saturday.
Well, it's one of them a point you've mentioned before on the podcast about Headingley not being that type of ground anymore.
We said it last week, yeah.
But
who knows? Right.
It might be for Huddersfield, with some of the characters there, but you never know.
Anyway, Saints, Hull FC, new coach effect going into place for Hull FC.
This is a perfect game for Saints.
Wellens is attack.
Eyes up rugby for Hull.
Matty, who are you going? Can you see an upset here?
No. This is the perfect game for Saints. 80% going for St Helens, which I think is quite low.
80%?
Yeah.
20% think Hull FC.
20% of our listeners, well, they don't forget they are our listeners, so they probably do like Wigan, most of them. But yes, I think Saints are going to win. And it's the game they need. I wish they had a tough game, because imagine if they lost again.
It's one of them games you could see being a 1 point to Hull.
I'd love it, but I keep going for the brave call and it's not looking for me, so I'm going Saints. Cam?
Yeah, Saints.
It's got to be.
Unfortunately.
Got to be.
Right, always leave Wigan to the end. Saturday, 3 o'clock, London versus Salford. Could London get off the mark? Salford have still got a few injuries.
I think London could give them a game, because I think Salford, since Wigan beat them, they've not really been at the
They've
race.
struggled with injuries.
They've not been
that.
the same. They had a couple of suspensions. Borough's had a suspension on it.
I've always thought London at home rattle a few teams and get under the skin a bit, but
I don't think this London side's the same quality of previous London sides.
Oh no, not a chance. I mean, that London side that went down with 20 points, that would be one of the
Turned
best.
Saints and Wigan, didn't
Yeah, that would have been one of the best sides. That.
Right, I've got to go Salford.
Yep.
I think Salford, but I don't think it's going to be as dominant as people might think.
Less than 30?
Oh, I think less than 30. Yeah, I think less than 30.
Might be
I'll go less than 20.
less than 20. I like it.
I'm not with you on that one. I think I'll go less than 30 though. I think London will give them a game.
Right. Warrington versus Lee. Interesting game. Lee have got the week off. Sorry.
No, they're not.
Lee have got to bounce back after a bad result. Warrington have got a very difficult game at St Helens. Obviously, I know they got a strong win, but it's always hard going to St Helens. What do we see, guys?
90% going for Warrington.
I think that might be a little bit high. I would have expected the Saints result to have swapped to that.
I think 90% is high, but I do think Warrington are the favourites, and I think they'll win.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Warrington to win though.
I've got Warrington.
Right. Travelling over to Catalans on Sunday, 5:30 kick-off. On Saturday, 5:30 kick-off. This will be a really good game to watch. Hull KR higher into another semi-final. Catalans on a real low.
Yeah.
Hull KR have got to prove that they can compete with the top four. And I know they got in the fourth last year, but they've got to beat Wigan Saints, Catalans. Catalans need to bounce back. I think this is a massive game for both of these sides.
Yeah.
Like we've said, I think Catalan are a bit of footing run where they lose a game, but they could turn up the week after and
Who are we going?
prove us
Matty?
all wrong.
I think I'm going to go for KR, you know.
To overturn Catalan.
Yeah, I know I put a lot of value in Brutus or whatever it's called, the stadium.
Yeah.
But I just think they're probably another week away, Catalan, from being right with their injuries. And I think Hull KR are playing really well at the minute. I think they could go down the... And part of it is quite selfish, thinking they'll lose to us the week after then because they put such a decent performance in. So I think I'm going to go for Hull KR.
The bookies do have Catalan slight favourites by 6 points.
Yeah, the listeners went for 68% to Catalan, so close, but you know.
I think that's fair.
I think that's probably about right.
I just think training will be too hard for him this week. I think McNamara won't be happy with that performance, and I can see him fixing a few things. So I'm going to go Catalans.
We're going to go Catalan in Golden Point.
Oh, I hope you're right. That'll be interesting.
Ooh.
Is that on Saturday? That one?
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 games on. 3
games on Friday, and then 2 at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah. No
Right.
games tomorrow, and then no games on Thursday. No games on Sunday.
Yeah. Right. Wigan. I'm going to throw an extra question to you. Obviously, I think Wigan are favourites. Do you see us?
95%, 5% of our listeners don't think we're going to win.
Do you think that's 5% that listen from Cass?
Maybe. I don't think we have any listeners from Cass.
We have one from Halifax.
We get Wi-Fi there.
Don't say that. We've just lost him.
We've lost our listener from Halifax.
I think you have one from Trinidad and Tobago.
We had one from Russia for ages. Do we still get that listener from Russia?
I think that might be some bot that there.
That might be Putin listening in.
He was on his honeymoon listening. That's why we got a listener in St. Lucia, wherever it was. How do you see Wigan playing this game? Do you think there's an opportunity here to rest a couple of players before going to KR next week?
See, I would like to see one or two rested, but I don't think they'll.
I don't think we will.
rest.
I think I went for big rotation against Sheffield, and we didn't really do that much.
Because even if they do get an injury, they've got plenty of depth.
Yeah.
The only one who I can see possibly getting a game is Eckersley. I think they might get Eckersley in though.
Do they play him at centre or on the wing?
It depends if any of them have got a knock. I don't know the injury updates there. If Miski's he's got a very heavily strapped knee. If someone would benefit from a game off,
Give him one, especially before Hull KR.
I think give him one.
Hull KR and Catalan next 2 games. I think definitely give. If anyone needs a week off, now's the week.
But I don't think there'll be that many changes just by the fact that they will be looking for points difference.
And getting combinations bang on and keep.
I think there's been another game of trying to put
Practicing
some
with
serious points on. bigger pitch, more space, put some points on.
Or, I mean, I'd like the weather to be nice from now until the match. I'd like the big wide pitch. We suit playing at home. We really do, especially when it's nice weather. We really do suit playing at home. I think we could do some damage.
Give rain tomorrow.
Oh, great. Well, let's hope it's nice on Friday.
I do think.
Give cloudy Friday.
I do think this will be an opportunity for Wigan to put some points on.
I hope it is.
Jump ahead in the points difference because we are just a little bit behind. If you look at the Super League ladder, obviously we've got a game in hand, which if we win, would put us up. If you're looking at the points difference,
Do you reckon we'll play that when England play?
It's a good question. We haven't mentioned the
midweek
England.
at some point. That's obviously it's if we
News.
do get to the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah, we haven't really mentioned the.
but the problem
The
is
England news.
though, isn't when's the international game? What date's that? Sorry.
Is it 29th of June?
So-
It's just after the cup final, a couple of weeks after the cup final.
So from the semi-final, if we progress in that, we'll know that we're in the final. So we're going to have to find a week. So I think we'll play it that weekend, the
Yeah.
international week. If we lose the semi, we've only got the Challenge Cup final
Yeah.
free. So I don't think there's anything really to comment on yet because it just depends on that Challenge Cup semi.
We might get told to lose.
Speaking of Toulouse, that's a good segue right there.
Yeah.
They're hosting the curtain raiser for France. Toulouse and Featherstone are going to play before France play England.
No, the internationals are before it.
The internationals are before Toulouse and
Yeah.
Featherstone.
Featherstone are the internationals
Are before
are the
Featherstone.
curtain raiser to Featherstone to lose.
So either
No, there's
Toulouse,
a big game on.
either Toulouse,
I'm not going to go and watch England. I'll
I've
rather
got-
watch Toulouse and Featherstone.
either they've got
We'll give that
several
one
of their players playing for France,
Mm.
or France don't get any Toulouse players.
I think that's how it's going to be.
Well, there's not going to be any. Let's be honest. There's not going to be any Featherstone players getting picked for England. So it's not fair, is it?
Mm.
Not exactly fair.
So
I don't
it's
think
a
it's a
difficult one. If
negative,
you're if you're Toulouse, what do you do there? Do you turn a player down, getting an international call up? It's not every day you get an international call
No,
up.
this
How
game.
stupid from
No.
the league? How stupid from rugby league to not look at what League One do in the football. If you have so many internationals called up, you postpone the game automatically. Like you see it all the time in League One. Like they've got 2 called up somewhere. 3. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah, I think it is 3.
But if you have 3 called up,
At youth level, it can be youth level as well. But that just never happens. I mean, the England Knights, do they even play anymore? There should be an England under 21s team. There should be.
I completely forgot about England. That's me.
Sam Powell, is he still captain? Sam
He
Powell
might
was
be the captain forever.
yeah, he's
I was going to say, wasn't Paul Anderson the coach of that?
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
one point.
Paul Anderson's going to be 85 and Sam Powell's 65. And
Still
they're
waiting for the game.
captain and coach of
When we're playing.
England Knights. That is just crazy. There needs to be England Knights need to be playing regularly every international break. Needs to have England under 21s.
And advertised.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that. It's an absolute slam dunk. Imagine an England under 21 side or under 23s, whatever. All the best and brightest young players from Super League getting a chance.
But you could also do it if you're worried about the opposition. You could do like an England under 21s versus France under 23s.
Yeah.
We've done that before. Yeah, they've done it before.
And just give a little bit of a wider scope to France as
Yeah.
a weaker nation. I just think.
Because they've always got a couple of decent young players coming through.
Oh, Catalans do, yeah. Catalans and Toulouse will as well.
But French rugby isn't going to get better by
Not playing youth.
not playing youth development.
Yeah, yeah.
They could, why couldn't they not have the festival on of French international under 16s, under 18s, 21s?
Well, there's a university team as well, isn't there?
But get more games on. Get them playing more games.
International rugby should be the pinnacle, and you should be striving to be capped at youth level,
They should
capped
have-
at reserve level,
Yeah.
capped at England Knights, capped at full international.
Why
that should
did-
be that progression.
Why do the scholars and the academies not have a mid-season international break and they play 3 tests against the scholarship and the academy
They used to do
age
that.
groups have a break for a month
They used to do it.
and they play 3 tests, or they play an origin, or they play 3 games
I
of high
watched
intensity.
2 games of England Academy, which was under 18s, against Australian schoolboys under 17s. One at Orrell, one at Lee, and then there was one at Leeds that I didn't go to. But
Wigan play Australia schoolboys.
Wigan played them in a warm up, and Liam Marshall scored And
Latrell Mitchell played.
Latrell Mitchell played, yeah, and Liam Marshall broke his foot, and there was an injury, a head knock, and he ran back on without the physio's permission, scored, and then got dragged off again. He broke his foot. But that was Liam Marshall, and that
shows how
Latrell
important
Mitchell
it is to
played
get on that
Brock
field.
Lamb, if you remember him. He played for London for a while.
Yeah.
He was on that team as well.
Sure, there's another couple of names.
Ash Golding was on the team for England.
But do you not see how important that is to Marshall to get back on the
2014.
field?
It was 2014.
I just think
Oh yeah,
at this academy level,
it was a big game. England won one of the games, I think.
Yeah.
At least one.
imagine if we had a three game series at under 18s, and the third game is played before a first team international.
Yep. It's just absolute. It's absolute slam dunk. It's so easy.
Mm.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
But they won't do it because it takes forethought and it takes
long
term vision and planning. It takes a bit of money, but it doesn't really take that much money.
I'm sure a club can donate the ground for a week for a game, an 80-minute game. Oh,
I'll put that to Chris Rodlinski next time we see him.
yeah, I will do. Right.
Now we've got the in.
Yeah.
Next half term. Next time we're off school.
Yeah.
Got some ideas.
Right. I think that wraps it up, lads. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Matty.
Yeah.
Been a pleasure. Cam, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Off the bench.
Still did more minutes than Tony Close.
Not as many bandages.
Right.
We'll nearly put some on for in tribute.
Right. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis. This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union